How's it going, my fellow gamers? So I'd like to bring up a controversial topic because one's a 5-star and one's a 4-star. So I think, honestly, this chick is better than this chick. And the reason that wrong chick. The reason that I bring this up is because of a couple of points. And I'll at some point I'll add some gameplay in the background to illustrate what I'm talking about. But let's just look at their kits, and I want to focus on two kind of specific points, and that revolves around their talent and their ultimate. So if we look at Su Sheng's ult, it deals a large amount of damage, and then it makes her action move forward by 100%. So right after you use the ult, no matter whose turn it is, it will be her turn next after the ult is cast. And then it also increases her attack by 20%, and it increases her ability, her talent, by another 50%. And her talent is when an enemy has their weakness broken on the field. Okay, wrong thing. It increases this, her skill damage. So deals physical damage equal to 126% of Su Sheng's attack to a single enemy. In addition, there is a 33% chance to trigger Sword Stance on the final hit, dealing additional physical damage equal to 60% of Su Sheng's attack to the enemy. If the enemy is afflicted with weakness break, the sword stance is guaranteed to trigger. So if they have no shields, so this is mostly what she's based around, is hitting people who have weakness break, and she will hit an additional kind of 60% damage, and then if you use the ultimate, she'll hit even more for those sword hits, and it can be between 1 and 3. It's guaranteed to have at least one hit of it. But Ori, I'm recording a video here. Come on my lap. When you hit them with your skill, it's going to guaranteed, if their weakness broken, to hit at least one instance of it. But if you can get lucky and hit 3 instances of it, so she's kind of got a luck aspect based on her damage. And the reason that I think she's better than Selee is because if we read her ultimate gives, a bigger damage boost for, just straight out damage, but it doesn't make her turn go next unless you kill somebody with her ultimate. So I believe Selee is worse when it comes to single target damage, is because if we had the exact same comp, all we did was change out Selee with Su Sheng. Su Sheng is going to be acting more, and you'd be saying, hey, Selee has a passive speed increase by 25%. Well, Su Sheng has the exact same passive, it just lies in here. So once we get kind of in game, it advances her attack by 15%. So it's not going to be like 1 for 1. She also has another damage increase thing, same thing as Selee here. She has a pin increase. So it's not going to be 1 for 1. I believe Selee is going to have an overall slightly more damage output at a base level once you get her all set up with relics, and you just have like a kitted out light cone for her. Selee's going to have an overall higher output, but Su Sheng has Eidolons, and the reason that I don't bring this up for Selee is because she's a 5-star. You are most likely not going to get Eidolons for Selee unless you're a whale, which you're not going to be watching this video, or you are just cracked out of your mind. So Su Sheng has a couple of really good Eidolons, and there's a banner coming up, supposedly going to have her on it in the future too, so you can get those coming up pretty soon. And one of the key points is this. The first Eidolon you can get is once you use your skill on a weakness broken enemy, it regenerates 1 skill point. So you can, if someone's weakness broken, you can hit the skill. It won't consume any skill points. It'll consume 1, so you have to have at least 1. It'll consume it, then it'll regen it. So she becomes... Ori, what? What do you want? Ori, what? Come here. Come here. Stop meowing. You're ruining the video. Mwah. So the thing with Su Sheng is that both of these characters are somewhat skill point hungry. Su Sheng, you're going to want to use your skill point constantly. Selee, you're going to want to use your skill point constantly. Sushang, once you get the first Eidolon, as long as they're weakness broken, you can use your skill point as many times as you get a turn, as long as they stay weakness broken, and you won't consume anything, which opens up a lot of doors. So let's just assume that you're fighting a single boss. They are weakness broken and you only have one skill point. Well, if you have this first Eidolon, you can pop your skill on them. It'll regen your skill point. You can pop your ultimate, so it advances your attack phase. You can pop your skill point again on her, so it consumes it and then regens it again. And then when you get down to, let's say you have a Bronya, if you get down to Bronya, then you can make it her turn again. It'll use that skill point for sure, and then you can hit a basic attack. Whereas for Selee, you would hit him with your skill, you would hit him with your ultimate, then you'd get down to Bronya, you'd already use your skill point, so you wouldn't have any, and you would just have to shoot with Bronya's gun. So she really shines even more once you get some of these Eidolons. I just wanted to focus on the first one because that is the most relevant one that kind of fixes her biggest issue and just makes her stand out even more. But if we look down here, she gets another speed boost that lets you stack it. So it makes it to where her talent speed boost is stackable up to 2 times. And when you start a fight, it already has a 1 stack to it. So it gives her that kind of Selee passive once you get to Eidolon 6, but we're not going to focus on that too much. But when it comes to just single target damage and being able to constantly wail on someone, and just as long as they're weak to physical, you can constantly be wailing on that physical damage output, and then once you break them, you can constantly be continuing to wail on them without having to rely on getting a kill such as Selee has to do, because her talent, if you're fighting one enemy and it's the boss, you will never see this talent procced because you have to kill someone first for that to proc. Selee is the greatest when it comes to killing several adds on the field. And that is exactly where she shines. It comes to when you have a boss that continuously summons a bunch of adds, or if you just have a lot of weak, squishy adds that you can clear, she is the best at that. But when it comes to single target and just being able to reliably have your turn continuously being procced and continuously adding damage output, I'd have to say Sushang is above that. And you have to remember, the more turns that you have as a character, the more chances that you will have to end the fight before the enemy has a turn to act. So her ultimate just being a passive, you get to go next turn, could save you from dying or at least losing a lot of health. So if they're one shot and your ultimate doesn't kill for Selee, then you're just going to get hit with that next attack that he has. But if you're Sushang and he hits you with his ultimate is next, or he's going to hit you with a big move next, and you use your ultimate, you get another turn that you get to try to either break him or kill him. So overall, as a 4-star unit, both of these characters are very close. They both have their own, spot that they're good at. But I think that overall, if you got a Sushang, you don't necessarily need a Selee. If you don't necessarily want a Selee, but you see how good she is, just wait till you get Sushang on a banner. And maybe you even like the next 5-star that comes out. You can get her, multiple copies of her. You can get the 5-star that comes out, and you'll have a bootleg version of Selee, just because they're very close in damage output and they're very close when it comes to the jobs that they fulfill, that it's okay for you to have a Sushang. It's not the end of the world, because she can output a good amount of damage. And one last thing I want to bring up is the relics. If you see, this is one of her best relic sets that I have on her, and I got this at the start of the game. So if you get her early, you're gonna already have a good set that you can level up and have her outperforming a lot of your other DPS characters, even Selee at the start of the game. So before you get any golds, because this set for Selee, you have to farm for this. You have to use your resin for it. So if you're at level 50 and you don't want to farm for this, and you want to wait till you can possibly get the gold version of it so you don't waste resin, then you would just build a Sushang. You get this just by purchasing it from one of the stores, and you will have the best set for Sushang. So she's good early game for, beginner players, since you don't have to farm for any sets to make her good. And she's just outperforms everything. Like, I got a Selee and I had to use Sushang for like 4 days after I got Selee just because I didn't have anything good for Selee to use. So that's some of the bright sides I'd say about Su Shang. She's a very good unit. Do not sleep on this girl. She's adorable. Now that it's been a minute since I started the video, I can finally say she's the cock girl. She you know, she has the big chicken that shoves stuff up their bum, you know, very funny, haha, cock girl, go burr. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, Johnny.
Take